October 21st, 2024 was a not so special date for me. It was a relatively normal day, or at least the morning of school, and when I got there at around 8:20 a.m. when class started, I received a text from my best friend's little sister. And in that text, I get that my friend, who I've known since the start of high school, is no longer with us. And it all felt so sudden. I had never heard of him being that bad or that ill for it to be that bad. I know he had gone through a really weird surgery, which left him pretty weak. So it was shocking to find out that he got released from the hospital. And I'm not sure why he got out of the hospital while being after a serious surgery, but he died 2 days later after feeling apparently very good the last hours before that happened. And I wasn't sure how to react to that. I felt so distraught. I started crying, but like, the quiet type of crying that you really don't want to have when you're in the middle of a classroom and you just don't know. You've never had someone die on you like this as an 18-year-old kid. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? So like, I don't know. The best I can do is just like grab myself up, go to my teacher who somehow knew my friend because we had luckily gone to the same class the year before, and I just tried to collect my thoughts and just tell him what happened and how I'm feeling. And of course, I was let go for the day because why wouldn't you be? Like, I could have been let go for even longer, but for some reason I stuck around and went to school more, even though I'm not sure if I should have, considering how horrible I was feeling. But I would have spent that time alone at home, and I'm not sure how healthy that is either. So, for some fucking reason, I went to the gym after that. Like, not because I didn't care. No, of course I cared a lot. I just didn't want to stay at home. I felt like that was the worst possible thing I could do. So instead of being at school or at home, I went to the gym. And of course, I didn't do anything well. And in the midst of this training session, I also get a second call from my teacher to inform me that my other friend, who I had gotten to meet this last year of high school, which for reference, it started in August, and I knew him until October 21st. And that's when I got the call and the information that he had also died. Now, he had had a diagnosis of schizophrenia, and that has led me and others to assume that it was most likely a suicide, considering that he had been discharged from the hospital and had been deemed fine enough to get his own place, of course, with checkups. But when that first checkup came, he was not found alive anymore. And the issue is that I was so distraught from my first friend dying that the second friend just didn't feel like the same blow. Even though I did care about him a lot, and I felt like I gotten to know him a lot in even the course of 2 semesters. We had played a lot of Counter-Strike together. I was still playing Counter-Strike decently, and all that other stuff. It felt so odd, and I just didn't understand. Like, I still couldn't grasp my head around how any of this was happening, and I'm still not sure to this day how I got to such an unfortunate point where all this happened. So, this was mostly a summary of what had happened at that point, which some of it I named on the video the week after it happened, and of course, you should watch that video as well to get even more context on how close I was to my first friend. So, Yeah, it's been a year after, a little over a year after all that happened, and I feel like my life has changed drastically. So in December, I have met my now girlfriend, and in February we made it official. And as you would probably assume, it is February 1st on this day that I'm filming right now, which means I have been with her for almost a year, and she's the most amazing person. She has made me into a way better person, a way sweeter person, and a more caring person. A person who goes into every day knowing that even if it is hard to wake up in the morning because you wake up this early, or if you have so much stuff to do, she's always there. I can always talk to her, and it is just the most amazing thing that she is really the greatest person in this world. I love her a lot. Second thing is, I had the strength to host a chess tournament in January of 2025. And there's also a video on that, which you should also check out. And it, it just shows that this is the first way of me bouncing back after all of this sadness and all this shit, right? So, like, yeah, it it was a really successful thing, and I'm very, very proud of it. And I don't know what else I could have done to make it better. So after that, not much really happened. I graduated high school, which I did with very great grades, in my opinion. And yeah, I think I was set up really well for uni, of course. And after that, almost instantly, I had a summer course in math because my school provided or failed to provide me with the correct math to actually have that math for my studies. So I had to do that for a month. And it was one of the most painful, grueling times of any summer because unlike every other summer that I had a summer job in, I got paid, and this summer course was all a specification that I had to had, which didn't feel like it was worth doing this so I could study, but it did not feel like that at the time. Like, I woke up at 5 a.m., took the bus at 6 a.m. so I could be at there for an 8 a.m. course, and then be back home at around 6 p.m., and then I have to be in bed by 9, which means you basically have no time for yourself, and you spend the weekend rotting because what else can you do? You just want to recover from all this shit. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad to say I just passed the entrance exam for that thing, and now I'm in uni. I'm in a dorm, so I am very proud of myself for getting to this point. And yeah, I feel like I've had the decent network of people, both classmates in uni and also friends from, for example, Erasmus and other types of stuff. I also still have a good connection with some of the people that I've also traveled away because I think they were very amazing. And you know, if you're watching this, you know who you are. And you've made me not forget the past, but like accept my past more and just move on a little better, even though I'm far from fully like 100% moving on, which I don't think anyone does from their friends' deaths, because it's just natural that it just impacts your life, especially at such a young age. And yeah, so first semester went really well, and now that I'm in the middle of the second semester, which is a little bit harder in difficulty, I don't really mind it too much. It's a good ramp up, but it's still a healthy ramp up, and I'm still happy that I have people to talk to about this. And yeah, I mean, of course it can be better, but comparing how I used to be and how I am now is just night and day in the aspect of how I went about socializing and that other stuff. So yeah, it has been a very interesting year. 2025. It was really interesting. So yeah, we're pretty much here in the present day, and I kind of want to look back at exactly on that time and how it made me feel, not just distraught because that is the expected behavior, but also a lot of different things. First of all, I did not feel like I had a very great support system. We can begin from my father, of course, who showed no sympathy. His thoughts were that it'll be over, and I don't know if you know this, but telling this to anyone ever is the worst thing you could do. Not because it doesn't fix anything, not because it doesn't support anyone, but it's just because it's such a triggering thing. It's so like it feels so forced. It doesn't feel genuine at all, and it makes you sound like a dipshit at best. So, yeah, I really feel like he didn't care about what happened, and it made me feel worthless at some point because like it made me feel like I'm overreacting to this stuff, even though hello, like two people fucking died in my close circle on the same day. Like that makes no sense to me. It amazes me like how little empathy someone can show. It it irritated me to the core, and it still like it's not a grudge necessarily that I hold, but it's just something to look back on and not be fond of because why would you be? And second of all is my IRL friends. My online friends did a good job of talking to me and keeping me at least a little happy, by at least letting me, like them being my quote unquote therapists. So it was nice to at least exchange some words or some situations that at least made me a little happier, even in a very dark time. I can't exactly say the same about my IRL friends or anyone in my social circle because they did not talk about it much. They didn't. They felt like everything was supposed to be normal, and I just did not feel like anything was normal at all. And yeah, I don't know. It just like it made life much tougher because it felt like you are not appreciated if you're not feeling good. Like I feel like sharing feelings is somehow wrong or somehow not supposed to be talked about, and I feel like that's something especially men suffer with. It's that they can't exactly say what they feel in fear or in spite of everyone telling them that they should. We are not living in the 20th century anymore. We should be a lot more caring towards people, towards men especially. In sometimes where like yeah, sure, people can say that yeah, you should show your feelings, but how many people can actually tolerate it being with a man who's crying in the room? I don't think many people could. I would love to be able to help someone who is in that dark spot because I've gone through it myself now, and it's if you don't help and if they themselves don't have a strong fundamental moral strength from before, they will fall, and they will keep free falling until you hit the bottom. And I didn't do that, luckily. I would say I managed to scrape myself out by doing the things I love, but that not everyone can do that. So please, if someone's not feeling well because they either feel bad because someone died or something happened or they themselves are suffering through something, please talk to them. I am a prime example of someone who needed talking to, not because something failed with me, but because I feel like I could have bounced back quicker and I could have been like accepted. I feel like I could have accepted the situation quicker, but that didn't happen. And yeah, no, I feel like people. Okay, like, yeah, I did say men, but like also people do lack empathy in this regard because they look out for themselves. Why look out for others when you can look out for yourself? It's so easy, right? Nobody to care about but yourself. If it was so simple, it would work, but it doesn't. That's why we have so many people that take their lives, because it's what they think when they think about everyone else. It's that nobody thinks about them and nobody cares. Of course, that's not true, but what does society make them feel, you know? It's that kind of thing, you know? It just crushes your spirit, and it doesn't let you get back up without you completely ignoring it. So I don't know how I've been so successful in this last year, even though I had many things that basically pushed me down. And of course, most of it goes to a lot of good distractions, a lot of good habits, and a lot of good hobbies, as well as finding a part of me that I've never thought I had until I met my girlfriend. So I again think that this was one of the biggest motivations for me to actually do better. And as you know, one says, one door closes, another window opens. And in this case, two doors closed on me, and then a gate opened. A giant fucking gate opened, and I just don't know what to say, really. I'm surprised. So yeah, I think that's all I really wanted to talk about. It feels like I got it all out of my system, and it really makes me feel heard when people can just come together and talk about this instead of hiding in their own corners or screens, suffering alone. Which is why I really want people to like send me a message on Discord or Snap or anywhere else that they know me, so that they can tell me how they feel in a tough situation. Like, I might not know you that well, but it doesn't matter. If you have nothing to lose, then I think talking is the best thing that it exists, because action doesn't always come. You can't always do it instantly. That's not how the world works. If it was that way, we could have done so much more, but look at how we are in society now. We are not there yet, and we will never be. So please talk to people, talk to each other, ask how they feel, and do not be like, oh, I'm fine or I'm okay. Like, be honest. I don't care. I don't care that they don't want to hear the bad things. They have to deal with my things, because it's life. Life can't always be I'm fine. Then we would always just have a flat line like this, you know? Like, so please, please, please just do as you feel and not always as you should. Do as you feel what is right, whether it might be taking that good decision, going somewhere that you've never gone before, but somewhere that you think will impact you positively. Because it made me realize these friends that I do not have anymore, they've made me realize how vulnerable life is and how fragile it can be if you, for example, just have one thing that breaks the camel's back, that is, but you know, you get the point. Life is very precious, and I feel like building those connections and building everything like that is just fundamental for our groups, for our mental health, and everything in between. So yeah, that's all that I really wanted to say. I hope this was at least comprehensible, maybe not too overwhelming, but I just want this in a way so that people can rebound easier from these losses, as I didn't do that quickly. But again, a loss comes at a certain point, and for me it was unluckily very early in my life. So yeah. Stay safe, people.